Bienvenidos a La Historia Río con Mykel. Hoy vamos a cubrir lo que muchos mexicoamericanos llamaron Viernes Negro, la muerte de Selena Quintanilla Pérez.
Let's get into it.
Motel, it's 901 Navigation Boulevard. What's wrong, man? We have a woman ran in the lobby, said she's been shot. She's laying on the floor and there's blood. Okay, where are you? How old is she? She looks about 20. Okay, who shot her? She's in the lobby right now? Yes, ma'am. She just passed out. Okay. I have to call in. I think you need to send a police unit too. It'll go off from you. Okay. You don't know anything else about who might have done it or anything like that? It's another lady, that's all I know. We're trying to find out. And okay, this lady's about 40 years old? 20. Okay. She got me on the bus about 158. Okay, who shot her? The lady at 158 shot the lady over here. Okay, is the lady at 158 still there? I don't know. They shot somebody. She's taking off. Was the vehicle on foot? She was vehicle on foot. They don't know. Well, we need somebody can give us some information so we can get the suspect. I've already got the ambulance and the police over there. They're en route. I need a car. I need a husband. What does she look like? Her name? Yes. Yolanda? Yolanda? Uh-huh. She's a suspect? Yes, ma'am. What's her last name? S-A-L-D-I-A? She's with Selena Incorporated, the lady from the singer. Okay, but where did she go? Do you know if she ran out? Which way she wearing? What is she wearing? Yeah, we've already got the police and the ambulance en route over there, but if somebody can give me some information, we can catch her. She can't tell me nothing. The lady that shot's laying down on the floor. Okay, where did she get shot at? What part of her body? Part of the body that she that's police are on the phone. Yeah. What part of the body did she get shot at? In her back. In the back. Okay, if y'all come across any information about the suspect, you call me right back, okay? All right, bye-bye.
I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it.
31st, 1995, Selena is professionally riding a wave of meteoric success. She's won her first Grammy in 1994 for her album Live, and was nominated again for a follow-up album, Amor Prohibido, which had given her numerous consecutive hits. She's looking to put out a perfume line. She's looking to expand her business, Selena Etc., into Mexico, has dominated the Tejano music scene yet again, has a cameo appearance in a major film due to come out that year, is working on her English crossover album, and is amassing larger crowds than ever. Over 67,000 people in the Houston Astrodome in February, and over 100,000 in March during the Calle Ocho Festival in Miami. She has bought a attractive land with her husband Chris Perez in Corpus Christi, Texas, and she is living her best life. One that would end on March 31st, 1995 at the hands of a woman she once considered to be her friend. This woman, who should not be named, was the president of the Selena Fan Club, which she started in 1991. Over the next 4 years, she gained much more access to Selena and her business dealings, so much so that she was made a manager to Selena's boutique in 1994 without having any managerial or administrative experience. In early 1995, Selena's father began getting complaints from fans not getting things that they paid for from the fan club, and upon searching through records, it was discovered that you-know-who had embezzled around $60,000 of money from Selena, as well as stolen some perfume samples from her Selena perfume line. When confronted by Selena and her family in early March 1995, you-know-who had no answers and still had a lot of missing financial documents Selena needed for her taxes. Selena spent the rest of March 1995 between show dates, recording sessions, and day-to-day business trying to divest these documents from you-know-who. What Selena did not know until a meeting in mid-March was that you-know-who bought a gun with hollow point bullets designed to expand on impact. At a meeting, she showed Selena the gun and was convinced to return it, which she did. But Selena was still missing important documents, and other contretemps with her family convinced you know who to buy the gun again. On March 30th, the Fiend says she's back in town to hand over some missing paperwork, but went to meet Selena alone and told Selena she'd been raped in Mexico. However, Selena did not come alone. She came with her husband, Chris, and tried to convince you know who to go to the hospital and get a rape kit done, which you know who refused. Selena went back home with her husband, missing papers still, but got a call late night from you know who that she went to meet Selena the next day alone, and Selena agreed. Selena arrived the next day and convinced you know who to go to the hospital where there was no evidence found of rape. Upon arriving back to the hotel, an argument broke out slightly before noon. According to some reports, Selena emptied the contents of you know who's bag onto the hotel bed and the gun fell out. Selena went to leave the room and you know who picked it up. According to you know who herself, she told Selena not to open that door, and that's when, she says, the gun went off at near point blank range. You can see by the blood spatter on the door that was indeed when Selena opened the door, where she was shot in her upper right back, severing a major artery at 11:48 a.m. Selena, in fear and hysterics, ran out of the room screaming for help towards the lobby, dropping a briefcase, her cell phone, and pocketbook in the process. She ran 392 feet, marking the way that she went with a trail of blood in her wake. When she made it to the lobby at 11:49, she was soaked in blood from the neck to the knees and was hysterically telling them to lock the door or she'd be shot again. She stayed conscious long enough to name her assailant and the room number, and was said not to have said another word and went motionless. Within 2 minutes, an ambulance arrived to take Selena to the nearby hospital, where she died of cardiac arrest and blood loss at 1:05 p.m. at the age of 23. According to surgeons and doctors working on her, she had damaged a right lung, shattered a collarbone, her veins had no blood left in them, and she had contusions, and the tissue on the right side of her chest had all been ripped. Despite trying to recirculate blood into her system with 6 units of blood for transfusion, all that blood spilled out of her body. In an hour and 20 minutes, Selena went from being poised for superstardom, being called the Mexican Madonna, to calling out for help after her so-called friend shot her, to, I believe, dead by the time she hit that lobby floor. On April 3rd, 1995, Selena was laid to rest at Seaside Memorial Park in a private ceremony, but not before fans were granted an open casket viewing, to which there was a line of up to 40,000 people stretching a mile long, with 78,000 people signing a book of condolence. Masses and vigils were held in Texas, California, and as far as places like Spain. Her family was also contacted by the likes of Gloria Estefan, Celia Cruz, and Madonna. On April 12, 1995, then Governor George W. Bush declared her birthday, April 16th, Selena Day in Texas. People magazine issued a commemorative issue on her life in April of that same year, and was so popular that they formed People in Espanol in response. Also released in the wake of Selena's death and rising popularity were Newsweek in Espanol and Latina magazine. In May of 1995, her album Dreaming of You hit #1 on the Billboard 200 charts and has become the second best-selling Latin album of all time. Her music was bought everywhere in the US and Mexico, and as far as Japan, China, and Germany. In 1997, she had a statue unveiled of her in Corpus Christi, Texas, in her honor, and a movie on her life starring Jennifer Lopez also came out that year and grossed over $35 million in box office receipts, and also launched Jennifer Lopez's career. Sadly, though, with her death, the Tejano music market never fully recovered and essentially died with her. By the end of the decade, she was the top-selling Latin artist of the 1990s. Even though she'll be gone 26 years today and would have been 50 this year, her impact and legacy continues to grow. She has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She has her own MAC Cosmetics line. She has a wax figure from Madame Tussauds in her likeness. She has a museum in Corpus Christi, Texas, many posthumous compilation albums, including a remixing of her Spanish hits into duets, which debuted at #1 in 2012, Enamorada de Ti. She's had multiple television documentaries and specials, including Selena Vive in 2005, which was up to that point the most watched and the highest rated Spanish language television special ever, with 35.9 rating on the Nielsen scans. Today, she continues to influence celebrities like Beyonce, Selena Gomez, Shakira, Katy Perry, and Drake. Her story touched Mariah Carey, and she was given props in a 1999 interview with Whitney Houston. This year, she just received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys. And she's also has a festival, the Fiesta de la Flor, in her honor. Even though Selena physically left us on Friday, March 31st, 1995, her legacy continues to live on. Like a star who physically may have burned out, her light will shine forever. Para todos ustedes, mi gente que está viendo esto, gracias. Selena ha entiendo un gran impacto en mi vida desde aprender español hasta aprender a bailar, y aunque ella no está con nosotros, quiero celebrarla. Ella siempre será mi héroe y ídolo, y espero que todos podamos aprender de su gran corazón y sus ejemplos. Mi abrazos y mis besotes, y muy pronto te veré. Hasta luego. Chao.